Big changes are on the way for the Denver Broncos this offseason. But before we dive into that, this is my first video since our tough loss. I did a live stream yesterday, but I just want to take a quick moment to check in and see how everyone's feeling about this season. I've noticed two clear groups of fans. First, there are people like me who wore black to work today. We're feeling down because we honestly believed we could beat the Buffalo Bills. I was all in for that game, heart and soul. And I'm going to show you some clips that I think prove the team felt the same way. It wasn't just Coach Sean Payton talking about it. The players were with him too. Then, there's the other group of fans who are staying positive, saying, "Hey, we've already come a long way. From a 5-win team under Nathaniel Hackett to an 8-win team, and now a 10-win team, things are looking up. And with Sean Payton in charge, the future seems bright. We're not just rebuilding, we're heading towards Super Bowl contention. So, how are you feeling? Are you in the depths of despair like me? I'm still holding on to hope for the next 5 years and truly believe this team has what it takes to win a Super Bowl with the right core. But man, it's tough right now because I really thought we were going to beat Buffalo. I'm really curious to hear what you all think. I feel like Coach Sean Payton is in the same place as me. You could just see the frustration on his face. He was clearly upset on the sideline, especially during those interactions with Vance Joseph. After the game, he said that this loss has to spark something in the team to head in the right direction. You could tell from his post-game reactions that he really believed we had a shot in that game. Leading up to the game, Payton had a whole plan for the run game, which is why he activated Bidet over Esteem. But as he said, we never even got the chance to see if that would work because the game got away from us so quickly. It's clear that he thought we were going to win, and I think that shows how much he cares. The person who really channeled my emotions the most was Nick Bonitto. If you watch him, he's clearly fighting back tears. And we're talking about one of the toughest guys in our locker room, probably second only to Zach Allen. You could tell that this team really believed in its potential. It's a stark contrast to what we saw in the Tampa Bay locker room after their loss or in Pittsburgh. There's infighting, frustration, but no tears, because those teams don't see the same potential we do. There's a huge, noticeable difference between this team and past teams, and that's something to get excited about as we look to the future. A cool moment I saw recently was from B. Nick's wife on Instagram. She posted a shout-out to Jared Stidham and Zach Wilson, as well as their wives, thanking them for believing in B. Nick even when they didn't have to. That kind of chemistry is special, and it's clear this team is building something unique. We just have to trust that Sean Payton will keep building on this, bringing in even more talent next year. As for Bo Nick, his mindset heading into the offseason is inspiring. He's not just looking forward to a 1-2-3 Cancun vacation. He's excited because he knows he can still improve as a quarterback. We saw him do what we hoped he would this season, get better with every game. Sure, he hit that rookie wall, but even then, his progress was still a step up compared to what we saw from Russell Wilson. And let's not forget, we were just a missed field goal away from being tied with the Buffalo Bills at halftime. And the Bills, by the way, are one of the top teams in the league. Remember, we were just a missed field goal away from being tied with the Buffalo Bills at halftime. And the Bills are one of the top teams in the league, having beaten the Kansas City Chiefs, the number 1 seed, and the Detroit Lions, the other number 1 seed. A lot of people are predicting Buffalo to make the Super Bowl, so being that close to them shows how competitive we really are. If B. Nick continues to improve, it's going to be wild and exciting to watch. Mike Klis wrote a fantastic article recently, breaking down the Broncos' future and where we're headed. He highlighted a few key areas where the Broncos need to make major moves. One position that stands out is tight end. We really need an upgrade there. There were a few times in yesterday's game when B. Nick scrambled and only gained a yard. In those moments, he had his tight end, Lucas Kroll, in single coverage, but Kroll couldn't create the separation needed. I can see the Broncos making a move to bring in a better tight end, especially since we know how important that position is in Sean Payton's offense. While Payton's had a solid season overall, one area where we expected more from Kroll was in his development. During training camp, Payton told us, "Nobody knows who number 85 is, but you won't forget him for long." Unfortunately, that hasn't quite played out as expected. So I wouldn't be surprised to see us make a move at tight end. Another position that might need attention is running back. We saw yesterday that the team benched Audric Estime and went with a guy who hasn't played since week 3. That's another area where the Broncos could look to improve. This really shows that we don't have the answer at running back yet. It seems like Javonte Williams may be moving on from the team, so I expect running back, tight end, and linebacker to be key areas where the Broncos make changes in the offseason. We really struggled to stop the Buffalo running game. As we hear from the closing press conferences at the end of the season, I'm really curious to find out why we couldn't stop their run game. Was the goal to focus on shutting down Josh Allen as a passer in the first half, and that's why we gave up the run? But then we couldn't stop the pass in the second half. I'm not sure about the game plan there, but it'll be interesting to get the full explanation. Now, here's the encouraging part from Mike Kliss's article. The Broncos are in a great financial position. Next year, we'll only have $32 million in dead cap space, with the Frank Clark and Randy Gregory contracts off the books. The remaining dead cap is mostly just a small part of Russell Wilson's deal. Plus, we're top 10 in cap space, which is a great spot to be in. We've already shown we're a playoff-caliber team, and we're building a state-of-the-art practice facility. We're also tied to the richest owner in sports, and we have a winning coach and quarterback combo. So if you're a player like T. Higgins, deciding between teams like the Jets or Raiders, or coming to join Bo Nick and this world-class coaching staff in a city like Denver, where it's one of the best places to live, that's a very attractive option. I've also heard some conflicting reports, but the Broncos are in a great position with the 19th or 20th overall pick in the draft. We have all our picks this year, with no more lingering picks from the trades for Sean Payton, Bo Nick, or Russell Wilson. Plus, we'll be getting compensatory picks because Javonte Williams is likely to sign a new deal. When he does, it will help us, and we could see at least one of the other guys, like Jarrod Stidham or Zach Wilson, get another deal too, which will add to our picks. On top of that, Vance Joseph is set to interview with the Chicago Bears and New York Jets. I also saw a report that he's interviewing with the Las Vegas Raiders. If that happens, the Broncos will get 2 third-round picks as compensation. George Paton has absolutely crushed the draft in recent years, so this is all really exciting. Talking about all this is actually lifting my spirits too. We made the playoffs, and we were almost tied with the Bills at halftime. We're on the right path and just going to keep getting better. Speaking of which, here's something interesting from yesterday's game that I didn't know. John Elway's first playoff game as a rookie also ended in a 31-7 loss. But the next year, the Broncos went 13-3 and won 13 games. So, could we be on the verge of something similar? With Bo Nick, Sean Payton has made it clear that the goal for next year is for the Broncos to host a home playoff game. And the only way to make that happen is by winning the division. No matter what happens in the rest of the playoffs, this could be the Chiefs' last real run. Travis Kelce is nearing the end of his career, and with so much money tied up in Patrick Mahomes and Chris Jones, they're going to have to make some tough decisions and rebuild. I believe their grip on the AFC West is starting to slip, and it looks like their defensive coordinator, Steve Spagnuolo, who's done a lot for them, may also get some head coaching interviews elsewhere. If that happens, it could be another blow to their dominance. That's why I'm so optimistic about the future of the Denver Broncos. We're on the right track, and I'm seeing big changes coming. I fully expect us to go after a tight end, running back, or inside linebacker this offseason. And with Vance Joseph possibly moving on, we could see some shifts in the coaching staff too. Maybe that's why we brought in Jim Leonhard. Who knows? But let me know how you're feeling in the comments. We're in this together, and I've got some exciting plans for this offseason. I can't wait to keep covering all the content with you all. Thanks for an amazing year. At the end of the day, we've got so much to believe in.